Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
You have reached Balanced Life with me, your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle. This is Conversations that Connect to a Healthier You. Got a healthy conversation today about love, romance, relationships, lasting love, soul partners, all of that. I'm so excited about my guest. She's actually a friend of mine. So we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But I want to tell you how you can become part of the conversation too. So if you're watching live and you want to call in and say or ask anything, even if you're a friend or a client of my guest today or a friend of mine, I'm sure you have a question or a comment. So the number here is 323-524-2599. I'm going to say it again because I wrote it on my Insta story wrong. I wrote 313. It's 323-524-2599. Call in anytime. Ask a question, make a comment. This is going to be a dynamic conversation. So we want you to become part of it. That's why I call it Conversations Connecting to a Healthier You, so you can chime in as well. Now, I know a lot of you, because we're in the middle of a work day on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're watching post-show or listening post-show, make a comment, ask a question. I reach out to my guests after the show with those comments and questions, and they return and answer and still engage with you. It's the conversations that keep on going and going and going. So don't hesitate to get involved. We want to hear from you. So the other thing is, I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get off and running right now. So I am a personal trainer, a fitness instructor, and a health and nutrition coach. So I help people. I call my business Balanced Life because I help people with everything that feeds us in addition to the food on the plate. So if we put the food on the plate aside, which I help people with as well as being a nutrition coach, but if we put that aside, we look at the other things in your life that may be down lower on the totem pole of life, and I try to help you bring them back up. We do small, actionable steps, one little step at a time, until everything kind of comes together and jives and becomes one. So to get a hold of me, I give a free consultation. So go to my website, which is Balanced Life by Debbie, DEBI.com. When you get there, you're going to see Consult with Me. Tap that after you read everything that I'm about, and let me know a little bit about you and what's going on, and let's have a conversation. I work with people all over the world. Zoom is a wonderful thing. I work with people in the exercise field all over the world too, and I teach classes, and my schedule is also on my website if you want to join class live. I also teach a virtual cycle class. So I'm on an app called Turbo app, and I have cycle classes. So if you have a bike at home, you can take one of my classes and get familiar with me just by going on TurboFit app, TURBOFIT app. Okay, we're going to get on the show because I want to take all the time we can, because this is a near and dear to my heart subject, actually. So let's start with the introduction here. Are you like me and in the dating scene? Do you need guidance to navigate the complexities of dating, or perhaps a relationship that you're currently in? Then you've come to the right podcast. So I want you to meet my guest, Treva Brandon Scharf. Treva is an ICF certified life dating relationship coach, former fitness pro, marriage first-timer at 51, and author of the book, Done Being Single, A Late Bloomer's Guide to Love. With 40-plus years in the fitness industry and many more in the singles world, Treva helps people achieve their personal best in life and love. Treva blogs about surviving singledom and finding love and contributes dating advice to Newsweek, Huffington Post, Thrive Global, and more. She currently co-hosts the podcast Done Being Single with her husband, Robbie. I've been on that podcast. It's a great one. And Treva's also an advocate for strong, independent women and a voice for empowered singles and a champion of late bloomers everywhere. So let's chat with the lady that can share her tough love dating and relationship advice with us. Please welcome my guest, Treva Brandon Scharf, to the show. Hi, Treva. Beautiful shit, Treva.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful Treva.
Thank you.
Love your energy. I love having you.
Thanks
Thank you
for that
being
intro.
here. Well,
You make me sound impressive.
you are. You are. And you've written this book since I've seen you last. And, you know, following you on some of the social platforms, you've actually gone around and you're really getting that book has got the ball rolling for you with your expertise. And I just thought, you got to come back on
Thank
my
you.
show.
It's been a while. I was here probably, 7 years ago?
Well, that was the first show you did. It
Okay,
was
right.
about 7 years ago, and it was another studio, and I had the
Correct.
co-host, Del.
Right.
And then I think you were here probably 4 or 5 years ago. When I first came here, you were in that first block of
Okay.
guests that I had.
Okay.
And I think at that time I was doing half-hour shows once a week. Now I'm doing twice monthly 50-minute shows. So just kind of it made it so I wasn't driving to Burbank every week and trying to find, guests that were available and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so this is your third appearance. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm a returning champ.
Yes,
And-
you are.
And you have not changed one bit, although the studio has.
Yeah, it
You
did.
look-
They had
I'm
a
telling
makeover.
you, the what did they say? The clock stopped with you.
Wish. Good
yes.
lighting. Good lighting in here.
I
It's
know.
the reason
You
why I
look
do a
fantastic.
professional show.
You are exactly everything you said you do. You are it. You are the
Oh,
package.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I right back at you. When you
Thank
walked in the
you.
door today, I went, oh, there's the beautiful Treva I've always known. And you exude from the inside out and the outside in. So I'm sure you've been told that, but you're just such a great presence to be around.
Thank you so much.
I always have felt that
nice.
since the day I met you.
Oh my God.
Which was
I love you. Thank
something we had. So my best friend.
Yeah.
So here's the way we know each other. My best friend Carolyn, her younger sister Kathy, went to school with Treva, and Kathy had an event that we were all invited to several years ago, many years ago, and Treva and I got to talking, and she's like, we need to talk. And this is when I don't even know if you were blogging at that time about being.
Well, if that was your birthday,
No, that was
That
later.
was-
That was
Oh.
later.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm coming up on that. I'm coming up on my 67th birthday,
Okay.
and by my 60th birthday, we were already friends.
Oh, okay. And,
yeah.
And by the way, big props for saying your age. I think that's fantastic. I was gonna not say it, but yes, you are, and you look great.
Thank
for
you.
Being 67.
Thank you. Well, I try to lead by example, because it's my business. So
Yes.
it's kind of like if we exercise, eat right, sleep well, and get all the other things together, you can age young, which is the name of my book.
Yeah, age young.
And so, unfortunately, there's one part, which we're going to get into today, that's missing. And that's my better half, or I don't know if you say it that way. I don't know if
The
that.
love piece.
Yeah,
of the story.
the companionship.
Okay.
So I got a dog, and his name is Fred, and he keeps me company, but it's not the company I'm looking
Right.
to seek exactly.
Right.
He's still by my side, but he'll be by my side once I get the
So
other
we
company.
need to get you a Fred on 2 legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please. So I'm so happy. I mean, the introduction sort of said it all, but let's talk about your book and the way it broke down, the way it breaks down. But before we do, we have to assume people are listening that don't know your origin story and how because your backstory is really why you do what you do. and how you got so passionate and knowledgeable about what you do. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, it is a story 51 years in the making. That is when I got married for the first time. I married a guy who also was a marriage first-timer, Robbie. He was 57.
Hi, Robbie. We know you're watching.
And before I got married, I dated and was single and spent a lot of time getting to know who I was and what I wanted. For a long time, I wasn't ready, and then I was ready, and then there was nobody available, and it was just sort of a series of kind of bad timing in a way, but maybe not. Maybe it was sort of the master plan.
The meant to be kind of thing.
Right,
yeah.
right. So I kind of honor that, and for whatever reason, I stayed single for as long as I did. I'm gonna think that it was there was some meaning to it, and I have made meaning out of it. I have made a career out of it. So
you have,
per the intro, I was like you in the fitness business for a really long time. So, I mean, super long time before I got into life coaching and dating coaching, and I kind of combine my years being single, which are many, with all those years being a coach and trainer. And that's how I sort of arrived at the dating thing. I am now, thanks to Robbie again, he changed my life. He changed my career.
Yes.
I have all this wisdom about both worlds. I am fully in the self-improvement world. I'm a self-improvement junkie.
Yeah.
I
love that.
I have so much information and insight to give people, which is my passion. I want to help people. I want people to find love. And that is my purpose.
Yeah. It's funny how you zigzagged your way into that purpose. Really quick, how did you and Robbie meet? I think I remember the story, but tell the audience.
We went to the same high school, so we're kind of from the same hometown, and had a bunch of mutual friends on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's where we first sort of caught each other's eye. And that led to some private messaging.
You in Facebook, you were
on
messaging.
Facebook, not dating Facebook, just regular Facebook circa 2013.
Yes.
2012. And one thing led to another, and we were chatting in private messages about a mutual friend. And then I was 49 at the time and about to turn 50, and not really happy about it at all. It was a long trek. It was a lot of hard labor, a lot of go nowhere a lot of relationships, a lot of breakups, a lot of heartbreak.
You sound like me right now.
What was I just doing? Oh, I'm taking canasta lessons.
Oh.
And yesterday we had a lesson, and the teacher said, when you lose, you learn.
Well, that's true in anything in life, right?
Right.
That's so true.
Right. So I'm going to use all of that information and all that experience, all that lived experience, right, to get me up to, a certain point. And so I learned after every breakup. I'd learn, I would improve, I'd level up, I'd learn a little bit more about myself and human nature and what do I have to do. And finally, I just got to this point. At the same time I met Robbie, it was very kind of synchronistic that I was thinking, can I curse?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
I said, I'm going to be single.
You resolved that you were going to be single the rest of your life.
Yes, because clearly it wasn't happening. At least marriage wasn't happening. And so I had to come to grips with that. I had to make peace with the fact that I'm going to be 50 in 5 minutes and I'm never getting married. Okay, let's go to plan B. Let's spin this script. Let's, change it up. Instead of woe is me, I'm going to go me. And at the same time, I was getting to know Robbie. And so not long after.
Had you met?
No. We were just chatting, just messaging.
Just messaging, yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'm never getting married. I'm never having a wedding. I am going to throw myself a big 50th birthday. And I did.
And
I invited Robbie, and he showed up. And
that's what I remember. Yes.
And then we went on a date, and then we got engaged 6 months later.
I love it.
And then married a year
It was
later.
sort of love at first sight once, because you had already been chatting a little bit, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, but I
and
was-
you already knew what each other looked like, and you know,
Yes, it was so nice to see him when he walked into the party. It was just,
like it
give
felt
a big hug,
like
oh, there you
knew each
are.
other all along.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tequila didn't hurt either, so that was instant
That
warmth.
always helps. That always
Instant
helps.
warmth from the inside out.
I love that story. It's a good romantic romance story.
Yes, and has so many lessons in it, because you know what? I know people hate to hear the old "it happens when you least expect it," but it does.
That's
okay?
what I'm waiting for.
It does.
Yeah.
And this is kind of going to bring me to my next point at some point in this conversation about the believing in the power of least expecting, staying out there, how your energy matters, how your outlook matters, how your mindset matters in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I believe it's true in many things in life, but definitely when it comes to your romantic sort of karma and what you should be. Like what I was telling you earlier, this reading I had last week, she was saying this is probably someone already in, your circle, but you don't realize it, or you don't know it, or you're not thinking in that realm, but you have other things to work on. And of course, let's break down the book a little bit, because that's, to help our audience understand sort of the methods and the things that might be holding them back from their forever love. And you really, you talk about, I know the book is also not just a self-help book to finding romance, your life partner, but it's also a little bit about you and your journey.
Sure.
And if you know Treva, like I know Treva, she's very funny, so there's a lot of humor in her book as well, infused. And again, that energetic enthusiasm and charisma you have comes through in your writings, because you've been blogging for a while.
Yes.
So you sort of turned the blog into a book.
Yes, that's what happened,
Yeah.
actually. And yes, a sense of humor does help you when you're feeling like shit. So you got to keep laughing. And so when I got engaged, I thought, this is really an unbelievable story. First time bride at 51. I have got to start a blog. So that's the beginning, the genesis of the blog. And then I kind of documented the whole getting married at this age and how nuts it was, and sharing dressing rooms with girls half my age, and just the whole thing about registering, just the wonder of it all, because I, again, thought it's never going to happen. And then it happened.
And we have to say, you got married right here.
I did, right over my shoulder here.
Right here in Burbank, beautiful downtown
Lakeside.
Burbank. Yeah. Well, we're right across from, we're at Warner Brothers, basically.
downtown.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so Johnny Carson.
I know. Well, that's the smokehouse right there.
right,
Yeah,
right,
that
right.
was his place.
Yeah. So yes, I'm feeling an energetic.
Yeah, pull
thing, right.
because you
This
got
is where it
married
all
here.
happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So I was single a really long time. I'm an only child. I was alone. And used to being alone, and found ways to take the edge off being alone. I mean, I was single, and I was going to be a good single person.
Yeah. You've resolved at that point.
Well,
yeah,
yeah, because that's what we do.
Yeah,
When
well,
you're-
believe me, I kind
you
of,
have
at
to-
almost 67 years old, I'm like, those things are crossing my mind, that
Yes.
you just resolved that this isn't going to happen. It's not meant to be.
Which, by the way, there is some power in coming to that kind of acceptance.
Yes.
It's not what you want to.
Oh,
to-
interesting.
You don't. I mean, I call it quitting. I mean, I did. I sort of
Yeah.
just gave up in a way. I didn't totally quit. I just thought, I'm taking marriage off the table, and that was very freeing. I didn't.
Well, you
give
didn't
up
put
on
pressure
love.
on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, anymore.
So I didn't give up on it. I left a little tiny crack in the door to receive it.
Yeah.
If it should come my way. But the whole marriage thing, I was like, this is just not going to happen. And so in letting go, it was so relieving and freeing, because I think it took the pressure. I kind of liken it to, and we were talking about your daughter, when couples can't get pregnant, right?
Yeah.
They can't get pregnant. They're trying.
And then
And then they adopt.
let go. Yeah.
and they let go, and then they get pregnant.
I know. I have that story. I have friends, I'm sure you do, that have that exact story.
Yes.
That tried for years and
It's-
adopted or did IVF and then end up naturally having a baby.
Yes.
After that, because they weren't thinking about it. There
Correct.
was no stress. And that, plays a lot into what stress and fatigue and, those anxious moments play into that. Your body physically is telling you you're not ready until you relax,
Yes, and I make reference to this in the book, that it's really hard to let go of something you want really badly.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's like giving up a dream, or
Yeah.
but it can be one of the great things you do for yourself, in a weird way.
Okay. Well, I kind of.
Which is with everything in life. I
Yeah.
think you work. Here's what you. This is what I call active luck, right? It's randomness plus human effort. I say it all the time.
Yeah. I
The
think that's true in
combination,
career. It's true with everything in life. Yeah.
You put forth the effort. You get yourself out there, you look good, you take care of yourself, right? We all do that.
Yeah.
We put ourselves online, or,
Yeah.
okay? And then you let go. And then you just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you keep grinding and you keep hitting your head
Yeah.
against the wall,
Yeah,
not
it
only
gets-
does it keep it away, whatever it is that you want, I really believe energetically, you burn out and you get
do.
resentful.
So I'm in dating fatigue.
yeah.
So I've had over 200 first dates, and I've been single now. So I separated from my ex-husband, my husband, more than 13. It's been 13 years, a little over 13 years. But I didn't start dating for like a year and a half, and then barely, And then I was unleashed. I actually called myself Unleashed on the dating sites. That was my title. And it was just catchers catch can. Let's just have younger, older, wealthy, guys that were, just a little bit older than my oldest daughter. And, I was just having fun. It was all about fun because I met my ex-husband when I was 19. So I wasn't at that point tethered, but, we got married 8 years later, but we were exclusive for those 8 years. So then it was a family time and raising kids and everything. And all of a sudden the world's your oyster in the dating scene. And I got burnt out on that. So I backed off. And now I just am barely on the apps. A couple of high-end dating services got a hold of me because what they're finding, like the Golden Bachelor, because there aren't that many women my age out there that are single, that have taken care of themselves and are good matches for men in their late 70s and 80s. So these matchmaking companies have reached out to me.
Well, can you blame them?
No.
I mean, you're hot, babe.
But I'm not
you
that
are-
attracted to men in their
You are
80s.
so
That's,
Golden Bachelorette material.
I would
What are you waiting for?
never put my love life on display like that. I wouldn't
You know
ever.
what? I'm going to make you
You
change
know,
your
I
mind.
did do a Dr. Phil show several years ago. We were friends at the time. I was like maybe 2017, 2018. I knew one of the producers on Dr. Phil, and his wife was coming out with a face line of products, what do you call it? A product line of facial stuff to help women as they age. And they wanted to feature a mother and daughter. So it's good for young, it's good for old. And I hadn't hit 60 yet. So I think it was like 59. So they reached out to me and asked if my daughter and I would come and do the show. We'll compensate you, blah, 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 do this. So I went and did the show. They did a whole field piece on me, a package. And here I was. It's similar to like what you would see in one of the Bachelorette or Bachelor shows where they do a package on a single. They did it as a single mother with, a daughter in her 30s. My younger daughter agreed to do it. My older daughter ran away from it. And they kept doing follow-ups. I only did 2. but I was featured on this show as this single woman that's completely available, and I use these products, and look, they're working, kind of thing. So I was an endorsement for her products. Anyway, that was after seeing that back, said never. I'm not. And then when the Golden Bachelor came up, I got all the phone calls and I ran away. I can't do it.
You say that now.
I can't do it. No.
I'm going to work on you.
Yeah, but I will do it privately. I will date people privately, you know, and
well, you're on my list.
Yeah,
you're on my fix-up list.
Good. I know you've been there before for me.
before.
Yeah, there was somebody at one of Robbie's gigs at Molly Malone's, and you wanted to play tennis, and I think we tried to get it together. Can't remember. I may have just moved.
I remember one guy I introduced you to.
Oh, yeah, and then you asked me about
and I think you went out with him.
No.
You didn't?
You know
I don't think so. Right?
No. Okay, we'll talk. Well, yeah. I don't want to say it on the air. We'll talk about it after. We'll get to it.
Well, let's watch.
I know. You never know. Okay, can I tell you on YouTube, I think your show is my second highest rated show. Hits on how many hits I've had on my YouTube channel.
Shit.
The one you and I did together on dating.
Okay.
We did a show specifically about dating. You hadn't written the book yet.
Okay.
It hadn't been the pandemic yet. It was last time you were here. That show has the highest number of hits, second highest number of hits. So it's a lot of post live that happens.
Great.
Let's talk about your book and how it breaks down, and I'll chime in where it fits for me.
Okay, so the book came from the blogs.
Okay, right.
So I had a friend who said, an editor friend, she said, you have a book in you, and I thought, maybe I do, because,
and you're a good writer.
Yeah, thank you. And because all of these blogs, right, what's the story behind the blogs? How did I get here? What was I thinking? What was happening in my life at the time? How did I get this wisdom? So I thought, what the hell? I'm going to use the blog sort of as a template to start, like an outline, and then once you start writing your story, things start coming to you, and you have all these memories and all those dates.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could just write a book.
Me too. I have a whole chapter in my book on dating.
You had 200. First one and done.
Yeah.
That's
same.
And so I had a lot to say, I had a lot of story to tell. And so I started with, from the beginning, literally childhood and my dysfunctional, God rest in peace, my parents.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional parents relationship.
And you're an only child, aren't you?
Child, yes. Yeah. And that sort of how it formed me, and I think informed my future relationships.
Of course, I think it's true for all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I just go into it, growing up and growing up in Beverly Hills and that experience. And every little thing that made some mark on me, that's something I had to talk about, that had some relevance to dating, and going back to how can I help you? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about all of the failures, the fails, the successes, the triumphs, everything. Everything went into this, and I say this all the time. I made a ton of mistakes,
but that's how we learn.
I learned,
mm-hmm.
and I have lots of great stories and anecdotes from those mistakes. And I made mistakes, so you don't have to. That's what I love to say.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. So by the time, and I also want to say about the fails, okay, and the rejections.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing to take at this age. I'm thinking
which are kind of like little heart the killers. They're
a piece of you gets thrown away.
They're losses. You grieve. They're little deaths.
And you also start to think about which is part of why you said you resolved to give up, is because maybe they were right. Because you believe,
yes, there's that whole confirmation, bias that goes through your head. Well, they're not interested, so maybe it's me, and maybe I have to do something and fix something. Which, I think that we are all enough as we are. Okay, we are so everyone has something wonderful to give and offer. We're also so gifted,
So
okay?
unique and gifted
Okay,
in our
right.
own way.
Correct.
Yeah.
With that said, are there areas where you could tweak? Are there things you could improve? Yes. Yes. There's always improvement. There's always enlightenment and right self-illumination.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
always and when you're on a long journey like I was, oh my God, every day is like, oh, okay, I made that mistake. Oh, I did that. No,
Yeah.
I learned that. And but yes, the repeated heartbreaks and rejection, it does get to you. It does.
It does. It
And
starts to add
it
up.
starts to fuck with your head.
Yeah.
And so by the time I met Robbie, I had lost myself in a way. I've lost like my power. I lost my greatness. I didn't know what my worth was anymore because no one seemed to want to marry me.
Yeah, because you had
And-
all those years of
right, and
rejection.
so-
Not, even if you were rejecting, it was still a loss,
I don't care how fucking strong you are.
Yeah.
Okay. It hurts.
Always. But
It's-
I'm saying even if you rejected an offer from
and
which
I
I'm sure with your beauty and your
Okay,
strength that
okay.
you had a lot of people you said were probably not
I
the
did.
right
I
fit.
did.
know that. Yeah.
I did. I did. I
But
broke,
that's
I broke a lot of
also
hearts.
that also because I go through that too. That also leaves you has a loss of something, and that also leaves there's a grieving moment of maybe I should have just given it a chance,
Oh,
or maybe
shit,
I
yes.
did
Did that.
Yeah, so there's
Oh,
all of that piled up, and it's a
Yeah.
big pile of crap, But so by the time Robbie comes along, there's all this doubt because
You should only have been there when he proposed.
did you say no?
Which is in the book, by the way. It was like, you what? You, huh? You want to what? Will I do what? I couldn't hear the words because I had never
'Cause
been
you
proposed
couldn't- yeah.
to, number one. So it was a language I had never heard. And I couldn't, it didn't register. You love me enough to want to marry me. It was bizarro world.
Yeah.
And this beautiful man, this exceptional human being loved me, wanted to marry me. And I thought, well, I guess it's not so bad. I guess I'm okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because you had spent all these years talking yourself down that
Yes.
you weren't okay.
Yes.
You weren't okay also because you were rejecting men that wanted you, and men were rejecting you that
Yes.
you may have wanted. So you were somewhere, because I'm going through this,
Yes.
so I understand that. And you live in this, who nobody wants me, and I'm not
What
going to
is
get it.
wrong
I'm
with
not going to
me?
get anywhere. You're stuck somewhere in the middle.
The whole narrative. What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that.
What is wrong with me?
I
The
know
first
that
half of my
narrative.
life was, what is wrong with me that I don't want to get married yet? What is wrong with me that it's taking so long and that this one, and they were nice guys. I dated nice guys. They weren't jerks.
No.
They just, for whatever reason. But yes, all my friends were getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
What is wrong
That's
with
a
me
tough
that
one.
is taking so long? And then because I kept rejecting people and I just wasn't in a hurry to get married, but yes, it did occur to me that maybe I'm flawed in some way. And then it was my turn to get dumped. That was just, then what is wrong with me again? Now there's really something wrong with me.
Yeah, you go.
And
That's a grieving process.
Oh yeah. And so Robbie just kind of blew my mind. He made me feel like I'm okay. And
Yeah.
and I'm
And you are.
I'm a big fan of, okay, you have to be ultimately the source of your own validation.
Of course.
You really do at the end of the day, right? But there is something to be said for external validation. It's really good. It's
and
good.
a lot of times we work towards that. We earn
Yes.
that,
And if it's not from someone you're dating or someone you're in a relationship with, find people. This is what you do when you're single. You find a loving support system that gives you validation and approval and props, so you get through those tough single days, right?
Yes.
And that is so by the time, and that props you up and that gives you a sense of self-worth when you're doubting your self-worth, which I did.
Yeah. I it's important. You're doing a lot of things you're saying. I'm like, I can relate because I'm going through this. It's the toughest place to be in wanting to be in a forever relationship and being, it's one of those things if you go from one and then something comes along within a year, let's say. But for me, this is a lot. So we were together 34 years. So it's like all of a sudden, so of course there's a big grief time for me, and there's a big readjustment time. And there was, fear, financial fear, just fear of being back in that dating scene, the who, where, what, how, why, what, career-wise, we work together, and now suddenly we're not together. So they'll never work with you again when we worked together for 30 years. So all of that was like such a weird thing to navigate this last 13 years. And now I've come out the other side, but the grief, I feel, won't resolve 100% until the right person comes along, and so I live in this precipice of this, what you were talking about, this doubting, is it ever going to happen?
Yes, it's very demoralizing to feel that you're not lovable.
Yeah.
It's really does a number on you.
And quite frankly, I have a daughter, my youngest daughter, who's about to be 35 years old in 2 weeks, and she is going through it. She had 2 very long-term relationships. One was a live-in one, and it's been 6 years, and she's just in the dating scene and getting very frustrated because she wants to have a family. That's a big deal to her. So she's starting to age and feeling like that's not a possibility. So
I hate that saying, age out.
Well,
she's aging out.
Yeah. I mean, like, just in terms of.
Yeah, she's not.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I mean, my older daughter's
no one's
still.
Aging out.
Yeah. No.
That's
you can have a family anytime. But she's starting to feel this as a loss. Yes.
How old is she?
35.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk after the show because I have specific advice for women of that age. I don't know how old your audience is, but
it's mostly women. Okay. I have these sheets with the demographics on it, but it's mostly women over 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But still, I get their daughters and their
Sure. She, here's the universal tragedy of dating these days is that everybody seems to be kind of checking out. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's so depressing to me. I hear stories all day long and I read so much, and people are so burned out and they're angry and
with everything in life, not just the dating scene.
But
they're frustrated.
Online dating is expediting that.
So, what do we do about it? What do you think? What should we do?
You know what? I had a sort of an interesting epiphany in the car on the way over here about online dating. I love it and I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it is
a great relationship.
It's a great tool. I know a lot of people who have found their people. Okay, so
me too, that are married.
So we thank dating apps, but I also know that it's doing great harm to people's psyches.
And that's what I was saying about dating fatigue. It's, I mean, and the fatigue is also with fix-ups and even organic meeting people, but when I'm out and about. But online dating, you just get so frustrated with it. I mean, you start. The mental cursing and
it's not your imagination. I'm almost thinking people should take like a digital detox, like a dating, like an app fast.
Yeah, well, I'm on it.
An app fast. Get off the apps and hit the reset button. Just go date, be in the real life.
Get out there. That's your suggestion. Get yourself out there.
Yes, because something really bad is going on, and it's really soul crushing. And I don't buy. Oh well, there's nowhere to meet people, and I don't want to know.
No,
what
there
to
is
do.
now during the pandemic.
Right. So if your demo is over 40, they have dated. They know a time before dating apps. So don't tell me that you don't know how to do it.
No, that's how we all met our first
Correct.
Loves.
And everywhere you go is an opportunity to meet someone.
Yeah.
Everywhere, in the most unlikely places, you can turn around to someone in line at coffee and just start chatting.
Yeah.
And that's
happens
how it
all
happens.
The time.
And I know there's a lot of different protocols now. Dating has changed so much in terms of who makes the first move, and the shifting power dynamics.
There's
and
Bumble where the
there's,
woman has to reach out
right,
first.
right. And we're in a post-Me Too world,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is either like on guard or pissed off, and rightfully so. So women are having to kind of step up a little bit more these days because men aren't.
No.
Men will not approach anymore.
Yeah. And as women and as a woman in the dating scene, I talked to my daughter, who's also in the dating scene, about this. You kind of like, well, if he doesn't text me back, we're done. And it's kind of like, maybe you should text him,
Yes.
But I don't put that effort out because I want them to want me.
Of course.
And then
you and I are old-fashioned.
Yeah.
You and I come from a time where men initiated
Yes.
and pursued. And I still very much believe in that because there's something called evolutionary psychology, which is kind of how we think from primal days, okay? So men are wired to hunt and chase and pursue. And I don't think we should take that away from them. However, with that said, I think as women in this day and age, there is a way to meet them halfway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. That's important.
Yeah. Women, you know what? If you're not comfortable making the first move, here's what you do. Just be approachable. That's your first move.
Yeah.
Smile, make eye contact. Because
if you catch, like I catch, my red hair catches eyes, even women.
Right.
I find people looking at me when I walk into a busy restaurant. People always look at other people, but when you have kind of what they call flash, right? Because they're looking to see whether what's behind the red hair, and I've got this full head of red hair, and that makes people look at me. So I have a choice. I can look back if I think there's a potential man who's looking, or I can keep going and shut down, which will shut him, turn that off.
It would help if everybody got off their goddamn phones.
Yeah, I know. That's
Put
a
your
problem.
phones down, everybody.
Yeah. Treva, our time is up.
What? No, I'm
we
not
haven't even
leaving.
talked about your book. Let's do this. Will you come back?
Yes.
In 2 weeks?
Okay. Oh, you know what? I could have lifted this mic the whole time.
Yeah.
I was down. I'm hovering over the mic because you said eat the mic. So, okay. Now you tell me this thing comes up.
I would like to do a part 2.
Oh, yes.
Bring your book. Let's go through the book because this has become, you have so much good advice and we have such a short time to get through it all. Let's talk about how people can get your book in the time we have left. I want you to talk about the show you do every Wednesday with the woman who's your client.
Yes.
And so people can get those little snippets, those little sound bites of dating advice. And anything else that you may have coming up, how they can get a hold of you.
So to learn more about me, my coaching services, and you can buy the book at my website, trevabrandonscharf.com. It's all in one place. You can learn everything about me. I've got articles and blogs and interviews and everything you've ever want to know about me, but we're afraid to ask. Okay.
Perfect.
And then I'm on a weekly Instagram live on an account called Style at a Certain Age. Style at a Certain Age. It's a woman that I coached.
But you also run it on your Instagram.
Yes.
So it runs on your Instagram.
Right.
So what's your Instagram?
Treva Be Me.
Yeah, Treva
1 o'clock.
Be Me. Right.
1 o'clock every Pacific time. She's 4 p.m. I'm 1 p.m.
Okay, she's east.
Every Wednesday, and it's fast. It's like a fast hit of
like
dating.
15 minutes or something.
Oh no, we are out.
You're out in and
fast
out.
and furious.
You talk about one subject under the dating headline, under the finding love and romance deadline.
Yes, and she was a client, and she's given me this beautiful platform, and we talk every Wednesday, and I talk a mile a minute.
Good advice. It's good advice. It's
Thank you.
That's good sound bites. And then you need to go get Treva's book. Tony, put that book up there one more time.
I forgot
it's
to
called
bring one.
Done. Yeah, you'll bring it next time.
Okay.
Done Being Single by Treva Brandon Scharf.
Yes.
A Late Bloomer's Guide to Love is a must pick up. Amazon.
You are
right?
so nice. Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's got some juicy stories
Yeah.
and some wisdom.
You
and
can see
some
this personality
great
comes out in those
information.
words in that book. It's, it's a book that's uplifting. It's going to make you feel, even if you're in a relationship, it is a book that you're going to want to get. You're going to want to read because it's a feel-good
Damn,
book.
girl,
It's
I'm
feel-good.
hiring you.
Yeah, I can't do it. You know what? Without reading, she said, you can do it for others, but not yourself. Isn't
Ain't
it
that
funny?
the truth,
I know,
though,
but we all
right?
do that. So Treva's coming back. We're going to break down the book. But in the meantime, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to the comment section. My Facebook got hacked, and so I'm not streaming live on my Facebook page, my Balanced Life Facebook page at the moment, working with Meta to get it back. But go to my YouTube channel, or you can go to my Instagram, Balanced Life by Debbie. Treva's up there on both places. And under that, ask a question, make a comment about what we talked about today. Get some questions going. Our next show, and we'll put this out ahead of time on our social platforms, will all be questions from our viewers, from you, the viewer. Anything you want to know within the romance and dating scene, okay? So we want to hear from you. And in the meantime, I want you to keep going out and finding those conversations that connect to a healthier you. All right, everybody, we'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully with Treva. Bye.